Hello, I'm back. Been gone for about a year now. And the funny thing is I'm back now, but I'm actually going to read something that I wrote in 2008. August 17, 2008. How I feel. It's been many years since it happened, 16 to be exact. 16 years ago, at this exact time, 12:48 a.m., I was in my single room on 5E, the Psychiatric and Eating Disorders Unit at Sick Kids Hospital. Who knows what happened exactly at this time, 16 years ago? Was I just sleeping? Was I exercising in my bed while watching out for the night nurse patrolling the hallway? Was I squeezing the Ensure out of my feeding tube and out the window? Did I pull the tube out of my nose? Did I pull my IV out of my hand and bleed all over the bed? Was I sneaking out to the nursing station while the nurse was sleeping on the couch in order to steal a syringe? Was I shooting finesse shampoo into the tube and into my stomach? Was I lying in bed thinking I will never wake up again after taking a whole bottle of Tylenol extra strength? Was I trying to cut through the skin of my wrist, desperate to reach that blue vein I could see through it? Was I waiting for my dad to arrive and knock some sense into me, or at least make me surrender to the feeding tube? I watched The Ultimate Fighter a lot. I watched the men try to force the men to use force and other techniques to make each other tap out. Tapping out is surrendering. I used to tap out. I would tap out when my 1 meter and 82 centimeter tall father was sitting on top of me and holding my face against the cold floor. I felt I had no choice. I was scared. I didn't know how far he could actually go. I didn't believe that the nurse staring in through the little window in the door would ever come in and help me. After all, the nurse was the one who called my father to come. The nurse was the one that forced me into the room alone with my father. Most of the time, the nurses weren't even there to keep an eye, or were they? One time, they even laid down blue gym mats on the floor before they sent me and my dad into the room. That day, the doctors were present too. Maybe they were trying to make it look less cruel or dangerous. This was then, and now, 16 years later, I sit here and think about it like it was happening right now. I don't remember things clearly anymore. The memories are starting to fade. The scars are starting to heal, or are they? I feel pain. I feel the same pain now as then. The only thing is that I'm slowly losing proof. My pain now can be denied. My story's fading, my physical proof is disappearing. I feel the same pain. I'm denied understanding. I'm denied being believed. I'm slowly feeling more and more like a liar. Like someone who is truly crazy and can't get over what happened, if it actually even happened the way I say it. I'm tired of fighting this. I tried and tried, just like 16 years ago. I tapped out then, and I'm expected to tap out now. Just give it up, Moran, they say. Just surrender and get on with it. Why can't you just accept that shit happens and get on with it? Why couldn't you just agree to be tube-fed 24 hours a day while you stopped eating completely by mouth? Why couldn't you just be well-behaved at the hospital and then sent home to starve again? I couldn't. I wasn't healed. I was sick. I got sick a whole year before I was hospitalized. I stopped eating well, almost immediately following the bar mitzvah in April or May of 1991. I was controlling food for that year and getting some kind of satisfaction out of it to a point where it became an addiction, and if I couldn't control it, I freaked. When I was on 4C at first, one of the medical units at Sick Kids, I was given the tube. I was being fed 24 hours a day. That is when I slowly stopped eating food by mouth. But I never pulled out the tube. I didn't care about the tube and the answer that was flowing into my stomach constantly. I just wanted to have control of it. And I did. On 4C, I was allowed to pour the answer into the bag myself, and I did. I was playing nurse and I played it very well. That wasn't the case when I was moved to 5E though. Over there, the nurses pour the answer into the bag and control the machine. I was not allowed to have any control over the machine that was literally connected to my stomach. I couldn't bear that, so I pulled it out during my first weekend pass since the beginning of my hospitalization. I pulled it out because I was running away that day, and I thought that it would look weird if I had a feeding tube dangling off the side of my face. I reached as far as my friend's house when I decided to call my parents. They picked me up. They called Sick Kids and were told to bring me back immediately. Coming back, my parents and I were escorted into my room by a nurse and the doctor on call. I said I didn't want the tube anymore. My father lost it and hit me across the head. My mom screamed for him to stop. The nurse and the doctor escorted my mom out of the room and left me and my father there. He proceeded to hit me. I don't remember details, but I'm pretty sure that at that time I didn't fight back but rather sat there and took the beating. Eventually I surrendered and said, "I will take the tube back." The nurse then entered the room and inserted it into my nose. It was like rape. First you try to stop it. You do whatever you can. Then you give in and let it go inside of you. At that point you're not feeling the pain. I didn't feel the pain of the tube hitting the back of my nose and then the back of my throat. I never gagged on it either. I just sat there every time like a loser of a battle against the man who was my father. I was raped like that many times. When I went to sleep the night I took the pills, I was crying. I don't know what I was thinking. I was sure I was going to die. I never heard about attempted suicide. I thought once you do it, then it's done. I remember walking back over the lounge immediately after taking the pills. I had a feeling of euphoria. I also was extremely sad. I can't believe until today that I could actually go to sleep that night knowing that I will never wake up again. I did. I was sick to my stomach the next morning. No one knew why. I got through it, and on my next outing with my grandmother, I bought 2 bottles of Tylenol extra strength. I was determined. There was nothing to live for. The only time I had ever seen my parents was when my dad was called over to surrender me. I had not seen my mom in weeks. That night I took a whole bottle again and started taking the second bottle. After managing to swallow 4 pills from the second bottle, the pill mixture in my stomach began to come up and into my mouth. It was disgusting. I swallowed it back down, but was unable to swallow any more pills, or I would have vomited everything. So I stopped and went to bed with 28 pills in my stomach. I didn't die. The pain is still the same. I feel it in different situations. I feel it when I lose control. I try to have total control so I don't have to feel this pain. Sometimes it's so strong that I almost feel invincible. It's like an out-of-body experience. I get away from the pain. My father and I have not had much of a relationship since then. My mother and he continued for years to use tactics of punishment in order to make me surrender. I've been punished for many things, big and small. I try not to surrender, but it's hard when the punishment is to be left alone. Meeting amazing people who are like family to me has made it easier to keep fighting and winning. But I haven't won one battle yet. I want to tell my story and stop being ashamed. I want people to know it, and not just my friends and close family. I want to be able to speak out. I can speak, read, and write. There's nothing stopping me but myself. But now, I am ready. Slowly, I'm going to learn about speaking out. Slowly, I will gain the confidence to tell my story. I want to be sure that I'm not just crazy. Joining CAPA, the Coalition Against Psychiatric Assault, has been a step towards that. It has not been easy, though. I had felt very unwell after telling my story to one of the group's members. I won't back down, though. I'm determined. I don't want to surrender. Surrendering to this battle would be giving up my life. I don't want to die. I was given a second chance for a reason. The pain is there every day. The pain is there so that I won't forget. The pain is there to remind me why I was given a second chance. My pain should hopefully one day save someone else from feeling this pain. We all make impulsive mistakes at times. It's called being human. I can forgive that. What I can't forgive is repeated mistakes over weeks and months. I can't forgive professionally accountable workers working on an involuntary floor in a children's hospital and not taking one moment in their day to reflect on their actions. It is hard for me to understand how so many people knew about this and turned a blind eye while they took an oath to help and protect human life. Yet the College of Nurses and the police do not hold these people accountable. Why? Because they were only in command, but my dad was the actual soldier going around inflicting physical harm? Was Hitler only responsible for 100 deaths or so because he had only killed 100 people with his own hands? If someone hires a person to go shoot someone, is only the shooter responsible? Perhaps the laws of psychiatry predate the Second World War, the women's rights movement, the slavery of blacks, and so forth. Perhaps I should look into the Bible for answers. So that was written in 2008. And then eventually I became quite ill after being triggered of this particular trauma in the end of 2012 in November, and now I'm coming out with my story again for the same reason as I wrote in 2008, and you know it's never left me since it happened. I just approached it in different ways, but now I'm fighting for my life and I'm doing what I have to do to get another second chance. So please share this, or if you have any way of helping out that you can think of for my sake, you're welcome to write me to this video. Thank you so much.